For the first time in the 7 days of Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's trial, prosecutors directly linked Allen to the February 13, 2017 killings of Libby German and Abby Williams. Melissa Oberg, a former forensic firearms examiner and tool markings expert, testified that she linked Allen's Sig Sauer pistol to the unfired bullet found between the teenagers' bodies. Oberg said she tested several firearms possibly associated with the Delphi killings, but none of those pistols cycled the cartridge found at the crime scene. Then, on October 14, 2022, she received Allen's Sig Sauer 226 to test. She compared cartridges fired as well as cycled through Allen's pistols. I was able to identify the pistol as having cycled the cartridge, Oberg testified. Oberg started her testimony shortly after 9 a.m. Friday, and prosecutors were still in their direct exam at noon when the court took a break for lunch to fix a technical glitch. Prosecutors still have to finish the questioning of Oberg, after which Allen's defense attorneys will cross-examine her. Unbeknownst to him, Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's life changed September 21, 2022, when Kathy Shank, a volunteer office worker for the murder investigation, found unfiled handwritten tip sheets in her box in her desk drawer. In the box was a self-reported tip from Allen, who said he was on the trails on February 13, 2017. Shank thought it odd that 3 girls reported seeing a man on the trail at the same time Allen admitted to being there, so she flagged Allen's file for investigation. Barely a month later, Allen was arrested and charged with murder for the killings of Libby German and Abby Williams. This is Ron Wilkins of the Journal and Courier, reporting from Delphi for the USA Today Network.
Much of what's been presented during this trial up until this point has been about tracing Abby Williams and Libby German's last moments, and today prosecutors shifted their focus to how they built a case against Richard Allen. At the tail end of today's proceedings, 2 Indiana State Police detectives discussed in detail what was uncovered during a search warrant of Allen's home in 2022, which included many knives, a photo album of Allen on the trails, and a gun.
In Day 5 of Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's trial, Sarah Carball testified she drove past a man walking on the county road near the Monon High Bridge on February 13, 2017, the day Libby German and Abby Williams were killed. She described him as wearing a brown jacket and light-colored jeans covered in mud and blood. When the photo of Bridge Guy was published days after the killings, Carball believed he was the same man she saw on the county road. Quote, "My description is always going to be the same," she insisted during cross-examination. She insisted she used the description of mud and blood in a 2019 follow-up interview with police, but after reading the transcript, defense attorney Andrew Baldwin asked if she's always consistent in her statements. "I guess not," she admitted. This is Ron Wilkins reporting in Delphi, Indiana for the Journal and Courier, part of the USA Today Network.
We're receiving an in-depth report from Sergeant Christopher Cecil about the data he extracted from Libby German's iPhone in 2019. Cecil reveals that the girls were so close that there were 3 touch IDs that were allowed in Libby's iPhone. One was labeled right, the other labeled left, and the third labeled Abby, implying that Abby Williams could get into Liberty's phone because she didn't have one of her own. So there's a real good timeline laid out of her phone's movements. The last signal he's receiving from Libby's phone is 4:33 a.m., the morning of February 14th, when she receives a bunch of text messages. It's not clear why those all came in at once. A particularly interesting text that Libby's phone got the afternoon of February 13th is from Becky Patty, her grandmother, and Becky writes, "You need to call me now," and adds multiple explanation points.
A juror in Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's trial asked if the undergrowth around Abby's body was disturbed, as if someone had dressed her corpse there. No, Indiana State Police crime scene investigator Brian Oley said. Nothing yet, and the evidence of Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's trial ties Allen to the killings of Libby German and Abby Williams on February 13, 2017. But Tuesday morning, jurors caught a quick glance of Bridge Guy in Libby's video of Abby crossing the Monon High Bridge. In the video, Libby films Abby on the last few steps of the bridge, and in the background is Bridge Guy, following the teenagers to the south side of the abandoned railroad trestle. Prosecutors believe Allen is Bridge Guy. This is Ron Wilkins for the Journal and Courier, reporting in Delphi.
Carroll County prosecutors have so far spent a lot of time ensuring that the jurors, who are from Allen County, understand the lay of the land near the Monon High Bridge, where Abby Williams and Libby German were allegedly led off the trail and killed by Richard Allen in early 2017. On Saturday, they called as witnesses the former Delphi police chief and 2 lifelong residents who were key to the townwide search for the missing girls. After one man saw a tie-dye shirt belonging to Libby German in Deer Creek, another parked at a nearby cemetery and walked downhill until he found the girls' bodies. He said at first he thought they were mannequins. He stood there, turned around, and called the police chief. When the trial resumes Monday, we expect prosecutors to talk more about security footage from a nearby business, Hoosier Harvestor, that they say implicates Richard Allen, the man they arrested 2 years ago for allegedly killing the girls.
All 12 jurors for Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's trial have been picked, along with 2 alternative jurors. The court resumes Tuesday morning to pick 2 more alternative jurors, as well as to address pretrial motions. This is Ron Wilkins for the Journal and Courier, Lafayette, Indiana.